Hey, and welcome. So I am going to do a Shopify store review for SmothEdge. So excited to do this one. And just as a heads up, we're going to do this in two parts. The first part, I'm going to give you feedback as a potential customer and just my thoughts going through your site as someone who might be going through yours, a potential customer might be. And the second part, my colleague Anna Marie, who is a product designer on our team, is going to give you specific, actionable design and user experience feedback. So let's dive in. Um, so land on your site, and immediately there's this pop-up, which just to you know, makes sense, very common for a lot of Shopify stores to do this. My first thought is what could I possibly get in a newsletter um, from a shaving company? So maybe there, I bet the 10% is compelling. So yeah. And then maybe the border here along this just sort of like blends into the site, which isn't the best. But anyways, coming to the site itself, what I love is it's immediately clear what you're selling, right? It's razors to men and women, and I'm going to get smooth skin. Love it. It's simple. I get it. It's clear. Um, I will say the 30-day guarantee plus 1 year warranty is intriguing. A 1 year warranty on a razor. I'm not sure what that means, but I want to click in and like learn more about that. Like I personally, it's a pet peeve of mine. Like I have to shave every other day, and I am sick and tired of spending, 40, $50 on a Gillette shaver that I have to throw away after 3 uses. So when I see a 1 year guarantee, I am rather intrigued. But let's go down, and then I like this. There's like a get $5 call to action. Give 10%, get 5%. I would just rephrase this when you say, my first read on give 10% meant that my first reaction was, oh, you want 10% from me in order to get 5%. But what you actually mean, which is explained right down there, is, share a 10% discount code. So, and maybe rephrase that to like share a 10% discount code, get $5. Um, and we have reviews as well. Oh, this is great. These look super legit. Um, and this is awesome. I wish more sites did this. Um, and so I see that there's the safety razor. You're selling different quantities. It's in stock. You're kind of like, so this is great. You're kind of sharing all the reasons that I would buy it. You're comparing it to a disposable razor. 30 days money back guarantee. Returns. Specifications. This is great. I like this gentle on skin, sharp on style. That's a really catchy um, phrase. And it seems the value prop is no more ingrown hairs. Yeah, I'm just curious about that one. To me personally, the ingrown hair isn't as big of a problem as it's just like spending so much money on like expensive Gillette razors. But maybe you've done your market research, so you can feel free to ignore that. This is really good. Didn't find your answer. Feel free to get in touch. Um, I would just reword this instead of USA customer service, get like American customer service. Um, you've got a nice footer here. And so if I'm understanding this, there's only one product you sell, and that is this razor, which is great. It's simple, it's easy. I'd consider adding an image, but this is just a lot of words over here. Um, Reducing this and maybe adding an image of you and your team or something to make this feel a little bit more personal and human. Contact form is clear. Yeah, so overall, it's a great site. It's easy to navigate, simple product. I would say the only outstanding question in my mind is what is this 1 year guarantee? Because that is really interesting. And yeah, I guess I'm just curious about that. And I would explain that on your site. That said, I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Anna Marie, who can share some design feedback with you.
Hi there, I'm Anna Marie. So let's take a quick look at SmothEdge from a design perspective. So right off the bat, a couple of things that I really like. First of all is that you have a really clear color scheme. So you're clearly using black, white, and this kind of brownish beige color. And so I think that's really clear, consistent, keeps the site simple and professional. So I really like that. I also like that you have this simple kind of sans serif font that feels like it matches the brand, matches the logo. So that's great. Right off the bat, when I landed on this site, right, there was that pop-up which Rue showed in his version. I can't for the life of me figure out how to bring it back, but a quick design thought on that. Roosh mentioned that it felt like it kind of blended into the site. And I think a big reason of why that was happening was that it looked like the background behind it, the kind of opacity was white. Versus if I click on these pop-ups, right, the background is black. And so I think just switching that one out so that the background of that pop-up is black will make it feel a lot clearer that it's a pop-up rather than blending in to the header. So that's one thing. And then speaking of the header, I think you could utilize this space differently. So right now, right, you have these kind of two stock images and you have this photoshopped in here and there's these lines. There's just a lot going on. There's this text with this like white background behind the text or outline. And so it just feels like a lot and it feels a little outdated as far as, right, the rest of the site being super modern, these product images with this brown background being really clean and beautiful. So I wonder if you could take one of these product images instead and have that really big here. And then maybe you have a separate header on the side that says, right, buy now or purchase, some kind of call to action that you can immediately click above the fold. So yeah, I think just freshening up this header section, it feels a little outdated and this pixelated image makes it feel a little unprofessional. And it also feels like it doesn't quite match the rest of your brand. So that's the first thing I'd look at. I love that you have, right, the product right here, clear and immediately accessible. But then below that, there's this huge image that feels a little random, takes up a lot of space. So maybe that's not necessary there, especially because, right, you have a lot of product images here. Below that, I love that you have testimonials, as Roosh mentioned. I'd consider left aligning this. Text that's centered is a little hard to read, and especially when it's this many lines. Might just be easier if you left align. And also, right, some of these have a lot of space, so maybe mess with kind of the way you align that as well. I know this one has more text, so obviously there's going to be some inconsistencies, but yeah, maybe just mess with the layout of this section a little more. And then the FAQs, I love that you have FAQs. I think it feels a little odd to have on the home page. So I'd recommend you just add a new page and move those there because they deserve their own space. And then as far as formatting, right, category feels a little weird. You can probably get rid of this and just have FAQs. And then in terms of padding, I decrease padding between these a little bit. And then when I open this, I really wish this text was left aligned. So it feels odd that, right, this text is centered. So just a couple of tweaks in design there. And again, moving that to its own page, I think would be great, all of this. And then the final thing, right, if you have the testimonial section, you have this section, and then I love this little kind of perk section. You might think about kind of blocking some of it out. So maybe some of it has this brown background, or maybe you have a lighter version of the brown that you can use to kind of block out different sections. Something to explore, not a mandatory thing, but just an idea. And then a couple other things. So if we go into the actual product, um, I think the photos are great, really descriptive. This section feels a little busy, right? So there's all of these features, and then this in stock is floating here. So maybe you add a little bit of padding, just explore the layout here. Maybe there's a better way to organize that. And then I wish there was a little more, right under here, there is information about all of this, but I wonder if this could just be text. Maybe you don't need to have it hidden behind these kind of drop downs, or if you do want it hidden, same as the FAQ page, just make sure that it's left aligned and maybe add a blurb at the top. Again, just explaining your value prop, explaining kind of what the product is and why I should purchase it. So I think that's the main stuff. Otherwise, the site's looking good. Final thing on the contact page, I think this gray feels a little outdated. Maybe just use a lighter gray or just add an outline to these boxes. It feels like it doesn't quite match the rest of your color scheme. And then with the footer, feels like these two are a little close to each other. So maybe have this aligned over here or just add a little more padding there. Minor tweaks to just kind of clean it up, make it more consistent, and really increase that trust when people come and visit it. Hope that's helpful.